How to get over your fear and start. I wrote this down one morning and I realized, because I had been really trying to get over holding myself back with the fear that creeps in, and we all have it on all parts of our lives. The doubt, the fear, and for 2020 I actually made a goal, and my word was to be brave. So do it scared. So here is what I kind of learned throughout the years, and is basically how I get over my fear and start. And I'm sharing this with you because I'm hoping that maybe it will help you too. When it comes to kind of getting over the fear of doing some things, like for instance, I started a YouTube channel, or starting a business, or now we are getting ready to launch a TV show. There's a lot of fear that starts squeezing in. It's like that little shoulder, the little devil and angel on your shoulder, and one of them's like, yay, this is so exciting, you got this, and the other one's like, who do you think you are? And we are going to learn how to quiet that noise and listen to the exciting part and keep our mind right. So when you go to start something, and this is kind of something I do, and I really focus on my mind a lot. I think that's the key to anything, getting your mind straight. But one thing is, all of these things that I'm going to show you are just techniques and ways to, before you start, to kind of help get your mind right. They're kind of like agreements or rules for yourself. But the first one I wrote down was opinions. So when you first start something, you want to let people know. So you'll start to kind of get the word out and tell people, but everyone is going to tell you what you should do, what you could do, that you should do this or you should do that, or don't do this and don't do that, and it really starts to mess with your head. So going into starting something new, just realize that you know what you need to do for your whatever project you are about to start, and that you can take it in what they're saying, but it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks you should do or shouldn't do, because at the end of the day, this is your project. This is something that you are doing, and that's how they might do it, and that's right for them, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right for you. Another one that I just thought of, so I'm gonna throw it in there, is allow yourself to be an amateur. I think I've said that I'm an amateur for like years now, because it's like the best way to kind of give yourself a break, because when you first start something, you are an amateur. It's like when you play a game, they say you got beginner's luck, and you play a game you don't know and everyone's coming and giving you a little grace. Well, do that for yourself. If you're an amateur starting something, give yourself grace. Give yourself a break. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're an amateur. And when you're in your amateur status, that's when it's time to make all the mistakes that you make, because this is the time to learn. Be you. I think this is really important. I think in the world that we live in, we see so much being thrown in front of us with our social medias and everybody's life looking great, or you see competition and they're doing really well. But the truth is, there is plenty of business to go around. There's plenty of opportunities to go around, and everybody is going to be a little bit different. No one can be you. So if you want to set yourself apart from the competition, don't try to what am I trying to say? Don't necessarily view them as competition. Take what you like from this company, or take what, like for instance, when I started my cleaning business, I look around and I'm like, I like what they do, I don't like what they do, oh, I love that, I like their clean website. I take and develop into what I am, or who I am, and what I want my business to be. And so I think what I'm trying to say is, I'll just read what I'm trying to say. The competition, you don't want to compare yourself to them, because really everybody starts at different times. You want to stay in your lane and be you. Don't compare yourself. And it sets you apart, and people like that. That's what I put. That was smart. But when you are you, it really does set you apart from everyone else. So don't try to mold into everybody else. Take what you like from everybody, leave what you don't, and at the end of the day, be you. And I actually kind of think being authentically you will probably be, I guess, I'll just put this on record, but I think being authentic is going to eventually be what people are looking for in the world that we live in, because everybody's getting really good at making things picture perfect, but people are kind of over that. Well, at least I think eventually they will be, and they're gonna want that authentic side of you. So if you can just like be brave and be you, that is gonna set you apart. Another one I would say for kind of getting over the fear and starting is being resourceful. Because truthfully, like if you think that you need to spend a lot of money on equipment or advertising or whatever the situation is of something that you're starting new, it's actually more of your fear saying like you need this, and then you don't have the money to get it, so you're like, well, we can't do this because we don't have the right equipment. Well, that's bogus. What you can do is be resourceful. Like for instance, when I started Another One Bites the Dust, I used the vacuum that my mom and dad gave me, and it was a Dyson, and it worked. You know, I was cleaning the floors, so I didn't have to go and spend a nice amount of money on this nice vacuum because I had a vacuum that worked. Now eventually I did go and upgrade our vacuums, and I love them. I would have a hard time going back, but it's okay to be resourceful and use what you have. It doesn't have to be picture perfect. I don't have this fancy YouTube set. I just use my house, and my house is what it is. So that is one that I like. So another thing that I put down was the kind of a football metaphor. Since we just had the Super Bowl, I guess this works. But it's fun to start something. So a lot of times that can be really, really fun. But I like to think, prepare yourself, because the starting is kind of all you think about when you're first starting. But the truth is, you really need to prepare yourself for the second and the third quarter, because that's what wins the game. That's what gets you to the end. That's where persistence comes in. That's where hard work comes in. That's where you have to stay focused, and you have to, when the fun part of it wears off or the nuance wears off. I don't know if you can hear that, my cats are fighting in the background, but that's when it is hard because it's not as exciting and fun anymore. But you got to prepare for the second and the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, you #finish strong. That's what I always say when I'm cleaning houses. We get to the end, it's been a long day or a long week, I'll be like, come on you guys, we can do this, finish strong. So this is probably the number one best thing to do, and that is to have a why. Like a big why. Like, why are you doing this? Write down a mission statement, or write down 3 reasons, or whatever you need to do, but figure out what you're doing this for, why you're doing it, and make it so big that it's going to motivate you when times get tough or hard or complicated, or you run into a situation where it kind of puts you at halt. This will help you push through and become a problem solver. Okay, another thing to do is announce it, and this is something that I do. I hold off on announcing for as long as I can, and when I get really close to launching something or doing something, I start to open my mouth and tell everybody. Now I have a hard time not talking anyway, and I tell everybody what's going on in my life, but sometimes I hold back because my perfectionism is like, it has to be perfect, but really I've learned that's silly. And so start telling people, because once you tell people, I wrote down 3 reasons why this is a good idea. I'm just gonna read them because that's easier. One is people will take you more serious, and they are, you will be, I don't know what that means, but people will take you more serious, and then you'll treat it more seriously. And then the second thing is be everywhere. I don't know what that means, except for that get the word out. People will remember you telling them something, but you got to go over and over and over. And the third reason, I don't know if those are good or not, but the third reason is it keeps you accountable, because once you announce it, you got to make it happen. I've done that plenty of times where I will pick a date or something and announce it, and then no matter what, I have to get it done, otherwise I'm a liar, and I don't want to be that. So that is another good one. This one's kind of interesting. I don't know how to put it, so I'm just gonna say there's I have this little method that I use called the counteract effect, and it's my way of taking something like doubt, and if I have a lot of doubt streaming in, like I've learned to recognize when I'm having doubts and I'm having fears popping in, and when I feel those, I counteract them with the opposite, which would be belief for me. So if you're starting to doubt stuff and think, like I did that this morning. I was driving to go film for a TV show, and I thought I looked all good and everything, and then all of a sudden I was like, my lipstick's too red, this off the shoulder's too much, like that's too much, and I started to like, it seeped in, and I quickly changed it and got it out of there because I've learned how to counteract that. But I switch it with what's opposite of doubt? Belief. You know what? Like, or whatever it is that you might be doing. But for me, if you're doubting, stop doubting and stop focusing on the negative and start focusing on why it is okay. What is good. That it, like, things will come together for you. I don't know if that makes sense. It works really well in my mind. So when I feel doubt, I counteract it with belief. Like, no, you got this. And then another is completion, not perfectionism. This one's hard for me because I am somebody who suffers from perfectionism, and I didn't realize that till probably in the last few years, but I have, which is great. My cleaning business, it's like perfect for that, but it is hard on me when I'm making videos because I want them to be perfect. I've scrapped so many videos because things weren't perfect in my mind, and I don't know, and I think it's more fear than anything. So go for completion, not perfection, because you're an amateur. So there is room to improve, and I think it'd be kind of fun to go back and watch some of the beginning episodes. And when you see you at a young age, you're not super embarrassed at like the outfits, but you're like, oh my gosh, what I was thinking. But you're like, whatever, I was young. Kind of the same thing there. So completion, not perfectionism. And then I put down, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And this is one that I've actually really applied this month with training my new team. Is instead of focusing on where I want us to get, I've been taking it day by day. And all of a sudden the other day I looked up and realized, wow, we've made such good progress. But instead of focusing on, you can get kind of like, it's like when they say when you're driving a car in like NASCAR that you need to keep your eyes on where you're going. I don't know if that has anything to do with taking it piece by piece, but like you've got to stay focused on where you're going and not look here, not look there. And sometimes when we have a big goal, it can be so overwhelming. So just bring it down a notch and do one step at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's what my mom always says. Oh, this is really important to me. This is something that I like live my life by, and that is to have fun. Like, it's so simple. If you're not having fun, something's wrong. You gotta have fun. You have to enjoy the process. So just have fun. I think in everything I do, I write have fun. In cleaning, have fun. In editing videos, make it fun. Like, I gotta have fun, period. Like right now, I'm having fun. So I hope that you are too. And then I put a couple other things, but I don't think I quite have my thoughts around what I was trying to write. One of them says name calling, and I don't really know what I mean, but it says like, well, people will say, it's more you're in your own head, but you'll be like, I think people will think I'm selfish because I'm spending all this time working on my own project, but really, or that I'm not giving enough, or I'm not doing things for other people, I'm doing things for me, and so I kind of struggle with that. But the truth is, I believe that if I gave a little bit of time now, yes, that would be helpful, but my goal is to fill me up with and become the person I want to be and make my dreams happen so that my cup runneth over, and eventually that time will come where I'll be able to give so much back, and I can't wait for that moment. But right now, I'm in the trenches, and I have to be a little bit selfish, if you will. So I try to stay away from those words, but that's what I put down there, so I'm just gonna ramble it in there. Procrastination. I am learning how to counteract that with discipline and getting it done, even when you don't feel like it, which is a lot, but the more you build the habits of getting into the habits of discipline for whatever project that you're working on, the easier it becomes. And then perfectionism is, I turn that into becoming a completer. I don't know really what I was trying to say there, but that was kind of my thoughts. And I put down the decision of the art of making decisions. I don't really know what that means either, but I think what I was trying to say there is kind of get prepared that you're gonna have a beautiful plan and you're gonna be ready, and then things are gonna change. So you're gonna want to just kind of go with the flow and get really good at making decisions. Like take a breath. Like for me, like when we're cleaning houses and we run into a situation where we're like, we really don't know what to do, or something's gone wrong and we have to figure out, it doesn't come to me right away. It takes me a second. So I will kind of just be like, all right, you got this. What is the right move here? What should you do? And then it'll come to me. I just give myself a little bit of time to make that decision and not just like stress, get into it, recognize what it is, and make a decision. So hopefully you are making a decision to go ahead and start, because now you can start preparing yourself to get the fear out of your head. And we all have it. And I like the quote, feel the fear and do it anyway. Because if I'm not afraid and excited, those are like the two things I always look for. If I am afraid and excited, I'm doing it. Period. That's how I decided to do the YouTube channel, start my business, jump out of a plane, and now the talk show. So feel the fear and do it anyway. By golly, have a good time. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.